Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer. I'm the founder and host here at ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about abusive acts or practices. Specifically, the question we want to answer today is, what is an abusive act or practice? Now, abusive acts or practices come from UDAP, U-D-A-A-P. That's where it comes from. Now, prior to the Dodd-Frank Act, we just had UDAP, which was unfair and deceptive acts or practices. And of course, abusive is the newest piece to that. So the answer to our question really comes from the Dodd-Frank Act, but we're going to explain this as it is explained in the CFPB's examination procedures. So unlike unfair and deceptive that the Federal Trade Commission have defined a three-pronged test for each unfair and deceptive, abusive acts or practice isn't as clearly defined. So let's take a look at the exam procedures and really what the Dodd-Frank Act tells us what an abusive act or practice is. Now, an abusive act or practice is potentially a number of things. First of all, it must materially interfere with the ability of a consumer to understand a term or condition of a financial product or service. And if that occurs, that would potentially be considered abusive. It would also need to take unreasonably advantage of the consumer's lack of understanding regarding material risks, costs, or conditions. And it would take unreasonable advantage of the inability of a consumer to protect their own interests, and it would take unreasonable advantage of a reasonable reliance by the consumer for a covered person to act in the consumer's best interest. So this is the guidance we're given on abusive acts or practices. Now, obviously, this isn't very clear to know where to look to find abusive acts or practices, or even to know if an act or practice that we have in front of us is in fact abusive. What the CFPB recently did is they actually released guidance on how they were going to enforce abusive acts and practices. And basically what they said is when something is clearly unfair or something is clearly deceptive under the other tests of UDAP, they're not also going to tag on abusive unless it's very, very obvious it's an abusive behavior. So this is the guidance we have to go on. Now, of course, one of the biggest challenges, as I just said, is to identify which acts or practices could be potentially abusive. And that's very difficult to do based on this guidance. What we believe the easiest way to do that is to look at a list of known violations where the CFPB has said this act or practice is abusive. And really, that's the best way to identify an unfair or deceptive act or practice as well. So we're talking really here about all of UDAP, but that's the best way to do it. So if you're looking for a resource that does just that, we actually have a program in our store at www.compliancecohort.com/store, and this is called UDAP Foundations. The first part of our program talks about unfair, it talks about deceptive, and it talks about abusive acts or practices. It talks about complaint management and everything you know need to know in regards to UDAP. But the second portion of the program is pretty exciting because we go over a list of over 50 known UDAP violations. These are both unfair, deceptive, as well as a couple of abusive acts or practices that the CFPB has included. So we go over quite a few different examples. So if you're looking to enhance your UDAP program or really mitigate your risk against unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts and practices, take a look at our UDAP Foundations training program in our store at www.compliancecohort.com. That's all I have for you today in this compliance clip. I hope you found it beneficial. If you're new to the compliance cohort, please take a look at our website. We offer a free membership where we have free training videos just like this that are absolutely free, along with free articles and other resources that are available to you. It's all free in our basic membership. There's no cost to sign up for that. If you're looking for enhanced training, we have some paid compliance classes. We even have a premium membership that's available a couple times during the year. So you can look at that in our store, but we do have a free membership, and I would encourage you to take advantage of that. For those of you that are members, thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end. We appreciate you. You're the reason we do what we do. Compliance is boring, but we try to make it fun. It's just me in a room here talking to you, so hopefully you enjoyed this clip. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.